matter what they're saying about Diddy in the news, he's still showing the world that he's brother love, because even though this witness bust out crying on the stand, Diddy threw up a big heart for his kids and for the sketch artists to let them know that whatever they talking about up there is not fazing him one bit. Maya testified the work environment with Combs was toxic. His former assistant described times she say he was violent with her. And to top it off, she said that when she went for her interview, Combs opened the door in his underwear.
Witness testimony continues today in the sex trafficking and racketeering trial of Sean Diddy Combs. A former stylist to the hip-hop mogul will return to the stand this morning. Yesterday, Deontay Nash recalled incidents in which he witnessed Combs' violence towards ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. Nash also testified that Combs was aggressive toward him personally. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges. CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman is outside the courthouse in Lower Manhattan once again and joins us with more. Katrina, what more did we learn from stylist Deontay Nash?
Good morning, Errol. On a lighter note, we learned from Nash that Cassie Ventura, the star witness in this case, had her baby a couple days ago. He's someone who has been very close with her over the years, and as you were saying, told us harrowing instances of violence that he witnessed between her and Sean Combs. In one story that he told, Cassie had been asleep on the couch. He said that Combs came into the apartment and yelled at her for not answering her phone. This is testimony that we heard from her, that he would get very angry if he couldn't reach her. He apparently then dragged her into a room and began hitting her until she whacked her head on the edge of a bed and there was blood everywhere. As this was happening, Nash, as well as Mia, the pseudonym for another employee of Combs, jumped on Combs' back, tried to stop him. He threw them off. Cassie ended up having to go to a plastic surgeon and get stitches. She had a gash on her eyebrow after that incident, Errol. He also told us about threats that Cassie communicated to him from Combs. He threatened to beat her, to get her parents fired, to release explicit sex tapes of her. And this was important, too, because this was how Nash said he learned about the freak-offs she was engaging in, because he told her that she should just let Combs release those tapes. He would be in them anyways, Errol. And that's when she said that these were videos of her with other men and that she didn't want to partake in them, but Combs was making her. And Errol, this is important because it goes to force and coercion, which are key elements of the charges that the prosecution has brought against Combs.
Yeah, the prosecution continuing to really build its case. All right, Katrina Kaufman, thank you very much.
I can't believe what I'm looking at right now. He said he left the hotel room one time and Cassie said Combs wanted another man over there. So it's getting real zesty in that courtroom. This is what they've been waiting for. It's getting real hot and intense. All them boys outside the courtroom got their ear pressed to the door to hear what's going on. Defense attorney Xavier Donaldson returned to Dante Nash's previous testimony about a trip to Las Vegas over New Year's in 2016 and 17 when he saw a man enter Cassie and Diddy's hotel room. The celebrity stylist confirmed that he left their room after Cassie said Diddy wanted to invite another man over. Donaldson suggested that since Nash left without asking any questions, he must not have had any concerns about Ventura's safety. He said, "I always did, but in this situation, you left the room anyway," he asked him. He said, yes. So did he kick Cassie out to have another man in the room? It got too hot. It got too intense. Cassie was taking up space. They trying to throw him in jail for the rest of his life for being zesty, y'all?
Turning our attention now to New York City, where at any moment the jury will be returning from their lunch break in the Sean Diddy Combs trafficking trial. And while they're in this break, with federal court not allowing cameras, let's bring in Scripps News Group reporter Alex Miller, who is outside of that federal courthouse. Alex, you've been inside today. What are some key moments that you're seeing from those witnesses on the stand today?
Well, we already have had a few key moments this morning, including a request for a mistrial by the defense, and that is because there was some questions about the line of questioning from prosecutors who were asking the fire investigator about some DNA fingerprint cards, DNA and fingerprint cards, rather, that were destroyed. Essentially, what happened is there were these fingerprint cards that were destroyed without this fire investigator's knowledge, and the inference that was made to the jury, according to Sean Combs's team, was that he is the one who had them destroyed, and he was able to buy himself really out of anything. There was a brief recess where they asked for this mistrial. It was denied by the judge, but when they came back, the judge did tell the jury to disregard any of that testimony, and we went back and heard more from this fire investigator who said this arson could have been a lot worse. He's the one who investigated Kid Cudi's car being lit on fire. Apparently, it was the Molotov cocktail that was used was not put together properly. There was a designer handkerchief put inside of the bottle when there really should have been a cloth put inside. If it had been done properly, the fire investigator testified that not only would it have completely blown up the car, which it did not, but it likely would have spread to the foliage and eventually to Kid Cudi's home. And he testified that really could have been the reality. We also heard from an LAPD officer who said that he saw the black Escalade parked outside of Kid Cudi's home during that break-in. He did not get to see who was inside because of the tinted windows, but he did take the plate down, and when he ran that plate, it was registered to Bad Boy Records, obviously Sean Combs's label. Now, on the stand right now is Deontay Nash. He is a stylist for both Sean Combs and Cassie Ventura, worked for them for about a decade, and he testified to the things that he saw. He saw Sean Combs, he says, threatening Cassie Ventura, that he was going to beat her, threatening that he was going to release those explicit sex tapes, threatening that he was not going to release her music, and that he was going to have her parents fired. He said that this was done anytime Cassie Ventura did anything that Sean Combs did not like, that he was ready to get in her face and threaten her with those things. He also testified to being assaulted himself by Sean Combs in this 2014 party when Deontay Nash arrived with Cassie Ventura, and Combs didn't like the way Cassie Ventura's hair was done. He said he picked up Nash by his jacket and yelled at him and told him he needed to fix her hair immediately. So essentially, Deontay Nash had to go around the party and ask every single person for hairpins, take Cassie into the bathroom and put her hair up because Sean Combs didn't like the way that it was done. So these are the kinds of stories that we've been hearing all morning long, and we're likely going to hear more of as the prosecution continues their questioning with Deontay Nash this afternoon. We are also expecting to hear from former employee Mia. That is not her real name, but she was named in the indictment, and she's likely to testify to not only being overworked by Sean Combs, but also to being raped by Sean Combs.
Oh, wow. Going to that assault, but also the forced labor part of this indictment. Alex Miller, thank you for painting that picture of what's happening inside of the courtroom so vividly for us. Let's bring in our guest for this hour who is standing by, joining us from East Lansing, Michigan, trial attorney Jamie White. Jamie, wow, when Alex is describing what the stylist on the stand overheard or knew about Cassie Ventura being threatened, being told by the defendant allegedly that her tapes would be released of these freak-offs, that her career would be tanked. I mean, does that go towards what the prosecution says was sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion? If she was doing these freak-offs, do those threats count as the force that's required?
You know, it's closer than what we've seen over the course of the last 11 days as far as the federal crimes are concerned. We certainly are dealing with state violations, and I think it's important for people to distinguish the two. Most of what we've heard over the last 11 days, including what we heard today, are violations of state law, some very serious violations, but that is not what he's being prosecuted with. The prosecution has been effective today and otherwise making Mr. Combs out to be, I suppose, a bad guy and a deviant and so on. But to get to sex trafficking, it's going to require more evidence. And to date, I don't believe we've heard it. Today got a little closer, but I think in order to get there, they're going to have to show those threats were directly related to her having to participate in sex acts or freak-offs, so they're called.
Great analysis, Jamie. We will continue to monitor.
Y'all gotta let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section, man. This is the craziest trial I ever seen in my life. The stylist stopped working with Combs in 2018, but kept in touch. Dante Nash, the celebrity stylist and friend of Cassie, testified that he stopped working with Diddy in 2018, but they still kept in touch afterwards. He said, I never spoke to Diddy, and he hasn't asked about Cassie. The jury saw messages Nash and Diddy had in 2019. Nash messaged Combs that he was sending love, and Combs responded, yeah, right. We was fam, Combs said, adding that he was disappointed. Combs then referenced the trainer, an apparent reference to Alex Fine, Cassie's husband, who was formerly her personal trainer. On a real note, how is she? Make sure she all right, Combs said in the message. So he wanted to make sure Cassie was good, regardless if she got married or not. He was upset that Dante switched up on him, and now he up in the courtroom. That's why Diddy throwing up that love. Regardless if homeboy crying or not, whatever he talking about, it's all love. And that's the way he gonna leave it. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this in the comment section. I got so much love for y'all. I'ma holla at y'all on my next video.